Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among the rushy green hills, there lived a young man named Izunna. Izunna was known far and wide as the best palm wine tapper in the village. His skill in climbing the tall palm trees and carefully collecting the sweet sap from their stalks was unmatched. Every evening, the villagers gathered at his hut to drink the finest palm tree, laughing and sharing stories as the sun dipped below the horizon. Though Izunna was a hardworking and kind man, he was also handsome, which drew the attention of many girls in the village. But there was one girl who stood out more than anyone else: Omaa. She was the most beautiful girl in the entire village. Her skin glowed like the morning sun. Her smile could warm the coldest heart, and her eyes sparkled like the stars in the night sky. Every young man desired to marry her, but it was Izunna who won her heart. The whole village buzzed with excitement when Izunna and Omaa got married. It was said to be the biggest wedding the village had seen in the years, with everyone drinking Izunna's famous palm wine and dancing late into the night. The young couple seemed like they were destined for happiness, but soon after the wedding, things began to change. Omaa, despite her beauty, had a problem. She was extremely lazy. She didn't like to do any housework, while other women in the village wake up early to cook, clean, and sweep their homes. Omaa would sleep late and refuse to do anything. When Izunna returned home after a long day of climbing palm trees and tapping wines, he would found the house in disarray. The floor was covered in dust. The cooking pots were empty, and the clothes were piled up in a corner, waiting to be washed. "Omaa, my wife," Izunna would gently say, "the house is dirty, and there is no food to eat. Can you please clean and cook?" But Omaa would just shrink her shoulders and reply,
"Why should I? You married me for my beauty, not to be your servant."
Izunna sighed in frustration. He loved Omaa dearly, but her laziness was becoming unbearable. He did not want to argue with her or make her unhappy, but he also knew that a home could not be kept in such a state. The villagers started to gossip about their marriage, and soon the entire village knew that Omaa refused to do any work. The village women in particular were the most vocal. As they gathered around well to fetch water or sat under the big bamboo tree to shell groundnuts, they gossiped about Omaa. "Can you imagine? She doesn't know how to cook or clean. Poor Izunna. He must be so unhappy with her," one woman exclaimed. "I heard she doesn't even wash his clothes. A man works all day and she can't even keep the house tidy." Another woman chimed in. "Such a beauty wasted on such a lazy woman." The eldest woman, Mama Nkechi, said, "Izunna should have married a hard-working wife, not just a pretty face." Izunna felt the weight of the village eyes on him. Whenever he went, people whispered and pointed. He was embarrassed, and it turned hurt deeply that his once happy marriage was now a subject of ridicule. One day, after much thought, Izunna came up with a clever plan. He decided to pretend that he was going to take a second wife. In their village, it was not uncommon for men to have more than one wife, especially if the first wife was not fully doing her duties. Izunna hoped that this would make Omaa realize the importance of her roles as a wife. That evening, Izunna sat down with Omaa. "My dear wife," he began, "I've decided that I will marry another wife." Omaa's eyes withered in shock. "What? Why would you do that?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I need a wife who can cook, clean, and take care of the house," Izunna said calmly. "Since you cannot do those things, I have no choice but to marry someone who will." Omaa was stunned. She had never expected that Izunna would consider marrying another wife. She loved her husband deeply, but she had taken his love for granted. Now, the thought of sharing him with another woman terrified her.
But I can change.
Omaa stammered.
Please don't marry another wife. I will learn how to cook, clean, and do everything. Just give me a chance.
Izunna hid a smile. His plan was working. "Very well," he said. "If you can prove to me that you are willing to change, I will not marry another wife." The next morning, Omaa woke up early, before the sun had even risen. For the first time since they married, she swept the house from corner to corner. Humming as she walked, she gathered the firewood and lighted the cooking fire, preparing a hearty breakfast for Izunna. She washed his clothes and hung them outside to dry. Make sure that everything was neat and tidy. When Izunna returned home that evening, he was surprised to find the house spotless and the aroma of freshly cooked food filling the air. Omaa greeted him with a warm smile and served him the most delicious meal he had ever tasted. Days turned into weeks, and Omaa continued to fulfill her duty as a wife. The gossip in the village faded as people noticed the change in her. The women who once mocked her began to admire her, and the village elders praised her transformation. Izunna was overjoyed. He had always loved Omaa, and now he was even proud to call her his wife. He knew that his clever plan had saved their marriage and brought them closer than ever. In the end, Izunna did not marry another wife. Omaa had proven her love and dedication, and their home was now filled with happiness, laughter, and peace. The villagers who once gossiped about their troubles now spoke of their love and the strength of their marriage. Izunna and Omaa lived happily ever after, and their story became a lesson to all the young couples in the village. True love requires effort, understanding, and sometimes a little cleverness to overcome some challenges. And so their love story, full of conflict, confusion, was now told from generation to generation, reminding everyone that even in the face of difficulty, love can thrive. The end.